Hello everyone, I am Divyanshu Kumar, and today starting on I will be starting a new kind of videos in which I will be discussing all of the questions of a contest in in one video. So in a specific question 3, how many problems did I solve, like A to F, all will be in one video, and I will be adding timestamp in the description, so you can just go to the specific question whenever you like if you want to just see problem number D, you can just go to a specific timestamp, right? And a general, we'll be starting with a general tip, right? As you all know, I did leave my practice for a long time, so you can see I got a lot of penalties here: +2, +2, +1, and -2. I was able to make G as well, but after the contest, so that's why I've not included that in this video. But so the key point to take away from here is never leave your practice. Okay, do continuous practice again and again, even if you are means like not doing so well as well. Okay, then let's start. So we'll be starting with problem A. This was a kind of easy question. So in this question we were given that we have two rectangles of size A cross B, and then we have to put them in a minimum area square, right? And we have to output the area of square. So as you can see, only two ways to put you know a rectangle is something like so basically and they should not overlap, right? So basically if they are not overlapping, so if this is A, and this is again A here, right? So the side of the square can be either 2A or it can be either 2B. Okay, uh, clearly, right? And then so basically, so just basically if you just see also, and if suppose I am considering the length of the side to be 2A, then the what means like the two rectangles are just adjacent to each other like this, then what is the other side of the length? It is nothing but equal to at minimum what it can be. At minimum it can be B, such that in this case it is B plus 1. But what happens if suppose like this I am putting the the squares or rectangles? So basically this is nothing but 2A and this is nothing but B, right? So basically this is one kind of rectangle, and the other one, the minimum possible one, is like this, where I have the side as 2B and the other length as A. Okay, so basically I'm just doing that. I'm just calculating what is the maximum of 2A and B and what is maximum of 2B and A. Then basically what is the minimum of C and D? So means which of these two configurations which result me in a minimum area square, right? And then I'm just outputting that. So this was easy, right? Then we have problem B, in which in this question we were given that we have n players, and then we have to divide these two n players into two teams A and B, not necessarily of equal size, but such that you have to maximize, the minimize this difference, the maximum strength of players in team A minus the minimum strength of players in team B, right? So basically if you see somehow like 1 2 3 4 5, okay, so like 1 2 3 4 5, right? And then so basically what happens is you are trying to uh, segment this number of the strength of players into two groups such that this difference is minimum. So what I thought to do is, firstly sort the array and then just put any separator such that, suppose in this case if you want to separate, what is the number of, what is the teams you can have, suppose like 1, and other team can be 2 3 4 5, and then so here the max is 1 and the minimum is 2. Other case is 1 2 and 3 4 5, still the max is 2 and the min is 3, and the difference between them is only 1, right? So you can do any such case. So what I thought to do is sort the array and then place a separator at any position starting from I equal to 1 to such, like continuous, like means like trying to put a separator in between the two numbers such that I have to just minimize the difference. So so basically the number, the difference can be just like, okay, so the if I put a separator here, the minimum element of team B will be nothing but just the right element of that separator, and the max element of A will be nothing but the left of this separator. Suppose if I put the separator somewhere here, then the max of A will be 4 and the min of B will be 5, right? So basically that only I'm doing here. I'm just taking the input and then I'm just sorting the array, right? And then I'm taking like, okay, the minimum difference is int max, and then I'm just calculating the minimum difference between a of I and a of I minus 1. So basically 5 and 4, 3 and 2, and 2 and 1, such as, so means like where I can place a separator, and then whatever is the minimum difference I'm just outputting that. It is as simple as that. So basically the complexity of this is nothing but O of n, right? uh, Not O of n actually, because this takes O of n, but sorting takes O of n log n, right? So basically our complexity is O of n log n. Okay, let's write the complexity of previous two as well. So basically this is O of 1, right? And here also no, okay, a b, yeah, right, n log n. Okay, so basically we have a n log n code here, right? And so that should be good enough, right? So let's go to problem number C. So in this question, we were given that you have n numbers and the n number is even, okay, means like n is even. It can be like 2, 4, 6, 8 or anything, right? And then we have to make pairs of numbers a, b such that in each pair, the either the parity of a and b both are same. So means like the number is something like 2, 4, 2, 6, or 3, 5, 3, 7. So means like either both of them are odd or both of them are even, right? Or the difference between them is equal to 1, right? Now one thing, a common concept required to solve this problem was like a even number n can be decomposed into two combinations such that both are even or both are odd, then only it is possible, right? So basically if you see, if I have n numbers and x of them are even and y of them are odd, okay, so basically, if x and y both are even, so means because I have only two cases. So if it is case one, means like it is only both are even, then what I can do is make pairs in themselves. So like I have something like I have bifurcated it like 3, 5. This is 1. This is odd numbers I have, and I have even numbers as 2, 4, 6, 8, right? So basically what I can do is I can just pair all the odd numbers together because I have even numbers of odd number. So basically they can form pairs among themselves, right? So 3, 5, and here also I can have 2, 6, 4, 8, anything I can do, means like that is not required to find. We have to just output yes or no, right? So basically I hope that that is clear, that if both are even, then what will happen. If both are odd, right, then basically you have to find one pair, only one pair, such that the difference between them is 1, means like, and you have to make a pair such that you select a from even and b from odd, okay, so as you reduce the size of to of even size to x minus 1 and odd size to y minus 1. Now if x and y was earlier odd, right, so odd minus 1 will give you even, and then once you have even number of numbers, you can just pair them up, right? So basically this was a simple logic. So how you can do is, you have to I just did n and temp, and then I made two vectors, odd and even, and now if the number is even, I am pushing it to even. If it is odd, I am pushing it to odd. And then if I am checking just like if even dot size is even and odd dot size is also even, then output is yes. I don't need to check anything else. If it is not, means like if they are not odd and even, right, means like odd and odd, both are not even, then basically I have to find one pair, right? So here given n size was less than equal to 50, right? So if I am trying to find even if I get n square, that won't be a problem here, right? Because 50 square is still less and it will pass our test case. right? So basically what I did is just like I equal to 0, I is less than even. So basically I am just trying to find a pair A and B such that absolute of difference between them is equal to 1. And if I find just one pair, right, then I will just output yes and return. Why only one pair? Because then I will just reduce the size to x minus 1 and y minus 1, and that will be the answer. That's all. And if I don't get even one pair such that the absolute difference between them is 1, then the answer will be no, obviously. Then I cannot do anything else here, right? So let's go to next question, problem D, buying shovels. Okay, so basically in this question we were given that you have packets of size 1 to k and you have to buy exactly n shovels. Then and then you can choose only one type of packet, right? So basically suppose you have to buy 4 uh, shovels and you have only two one and two type of and then k equal to 2, suppose. Then either you can buy packet 1 and then each packet contains only one shovel, so basically then you have to buy 4 packets, or you can do is buy type of packet 2 and then you have to buy only 2 packets because 2 into 2 is equal to 4. So basically you will get like that, right? So in this case this was a simple question of finding the factor of n. So basically you have to just find a factor of n such that when it divides, suppose the factor of n is m, right, and m is less than equal to k. Okay, so basically you have a packet which has m shovels in it, and then basically what you have to do is just minimize n by m. So because this is nothing but number of packets, you have to just minimize the number of packets. So one thing is here n was 10 is power 9 and k was as well of 10 is power 9. So if I just iterate directly from 1 to k to find the number of factors, I don't think that will pass because here k is of the order 10 is power 9. Okay, so basically what you can do is just go to till root n, right? And then so basically what I'm trying to say is you have to we can find all of the factors of a number in root n time, right? How? Suppose like I can iterate from 1 to till square root of n, and if suppose if n divides I, sorry, I divides n, then n by I also divides, right? So then I get two factors like I and n by I directly, right? So I don't need to go till complete n, I can just go till square root of n and I will have all the factors, right? So basically I'm checking here if I is a factor of n, okay, and then if I is less than equal to k, then min difference or the minimum number of packets you can say is nothing but min of, and this is the number of packets, that is nothing but n by I. Okay, and then if n by I is less than equal to k, that is nothing but the second factor, here, right? We have two factors, right? And then if the second factor is also less than equal to k, then how many number of packets I require, that is nothing but I, because when you divide n by I, you will get nothing but I, right? So basically here you have number of packets equal to I. So in this case I will just get the minimum number of packets required in root n time. So here my complexity is nothing but O of root n. Okay, and I think that should pass. O of root n into time into test cases, right? So I think that should pass, and that did pass actually. Okay, so I hope that was clear. Now let's go to next question. So this problem number E, this is called polygon. So basically in this question we were given that you have a grid of n cross m, right? Sorry, n cross n, and then basically you have this what to say, shooters, or you can say cannon, right? Cannon placed at the left edge and the top edge. Now suppose once a cannon shoots a one, it will go till the boundary, or if it means like suppose it shooted one, so there was no other one, it reached till the boundary. When it shoots the second one, it will go only till second place and it will fill here, right? Similarly, when the top one fires, it will also go till one or the boundary. Suppose if this one fires, it will reach 1 here, right? So it will fill 1 here, right? So basically, and then we were given that a final configuration was given to you. You have to find like whether actually the training happened or not, right? So basically, if you see carefully, now if I have a configuration as such, then basically if you just see this one, if you look at it, right, then how could have you fired this one, right? If you fire from top, it should have went to the bottommost part, or if you have fired from left one, then it should have reached to second position, right? So if it is here, this is an invalid combination. Or suppose if you want to check this one, this you can have easily fired from the top one or from the left one, because if you fire from the left one, still it reaches the second one, and if you fire from the top one, still it reaches the second one, because this is also filled. So what you can see is, if you're checking at a position I, and if this is 1, if this is equal to 1, okay, then basically I comma j, let's say, right, uh, let me just erase this, not so perfect here, right? So if let's just say like I and j, suppose let me call it m, is equal to 1, and then if either of I plus 1 of j, right, or I and j plus 1, so means either of its neighbor, if both of these neighbors are 0, there is no possible way to get 1 here, right? Let me just try removing this, right, and removing this as well, not just the corner one. I'm just trying to give you that example, like how it is not possible. Now if you check this one, even you cannot fill this one here, because why so? Because its right sibling is also 0, and the bottom sibling is also 0, so you cannot push a 1 in this place at any configuration. So what you can do is just iterate from this corner and check like this, right? And once you have seen a bottom row, and if that is correct, then it all depends on the above row, right? Suppose in the previous example what I have given you, suppose it was something like this, uh, and if suppose this row is correct, this row is correct, so if this row is correct and this row is also correct, then this amount of grid is perfect, right? So basically what you can do is just iterate from one corner and just check for I plus 1 and j plus 1, right? And then I think that should do the case. So here is the code. So I'm just taking string, an array of string, and then I'm just taking all the n strings, right? Because here we were given that you have array of strings, right? And then I'm just checking from the corner, you see I equal to n minus 1 and j equal to n minus 1 as well, right? So I'm starting from the corner and then I'm trying to reduce it. So basically what I will be trying to do is start from this corner and reach this corner, right? And I'm just keeping a variable e equal to 1, that is a boolean variable, and then if I is greater than 1 or j plus 1 is greater than equal to n, then continue. Why so? Because suppose this is the last row. Now in the last row I can just push from the top cannon and it will reach to the last one. Similarly, if it is the last column, then I can just fire from the leftmost cannon and it will reach the the rightmost column, right? So basically that's why it should continue. Otherwise, if I plus 1 is less than n and this is equal to 1, so means like either I can have I have a 1 here, right? So basically then I can just fire from the top cannon. Otherwise, if I have a 1 on its right child, right, then also I can fire from the left cannon, right? So if both of them are not true, then only I will have e equal to 1, right? If both of them are not true, then just output no and return. Because if you have any such combination anywhere in your given matrix, then you cannot generate it, right? It was as simple as that. And then but you will say you have a n square complexity here. You are right, I do have a n square complexity, but it was given that n is less than equal to 50, so I don't think that should be an issue again. Okay, So then basically then my total complexity will be O of t into n square, and that should pass because t is 10 cube and n square will give me 2500. So that is nothing but, you can roughly take it to 10 cube 6, it will be less than 10 raised power 7, I guess. Less than equal to, somewhere greater than 10 raised power 6 but less than 10 raised power 7, so it will pass. Okay, right. So let's go to the next question. So this was a good question. Spy string, right? Again, we were given that we have n strings, a1, a2 till an, and then each string is of length m, right? And then you have to find a string s such that for each string ai, right? For each string ai, there should not be more than one place j such that ai of j is not equal to s of j. Suppose I am given with two strings of length 4, a b a c and z b a b, and then I have to find one string which is common to all of these two. So one of the possible way is ZBAC, right? And in the given question, it was ABAB. Now if you compare ZBAC with the first one, so the first place does not match, right? And if you compare with the second string, then only the last character does not match, right? So you have only one place that differs, right? So this is one of the valid solutions. Similarly, the given solution in the question was ABAB. If we compare ABAB, then here with ABAC, then only the last character does not match, and with ZBAB, then only the first character does not match. Okay, so basically you have to just find a common string such that. So this question was easy. Now if you just consider, if you have to just consider this question with a bit of common sense, right? And we were given that the number of string is less than 10 and the length of each string is also less than 10. So pretty easy constraint, right? So each string differs by only one, right? The answer string will differ by each string by only one. So what you can do is take the first string and replace every ith character in the string by a to z. Means suppose like in the previous example, if I just take a b a c, right? What I can take is a b a c, and then how much I can generate is like replace the first character by a to z and then keep others same, or replace the second character by a to z and keep others the same, or keep the first two characters the same and replace the third character by a to z and then check, or similarly keep all the characters same, third character same, and just replace the last character with a to z, right? So in that way you can generate all the possible answers. Now what will be the complexity to generate each of the possible answers, right? I'm not talking about the correct answer, I'm just talking about the possible answers. The possible answer will be nothing but m into 26, because you have the length of the string is at max m, and then each position you can just replace by 26 characters, like, right? So the lowercase English letters. Now you have to test your answer, right? And then you can test the answer by matching with all the n strings. Now when you're matching it, you have a complexity of n cross m, because you have to match all the n string for all the m positions, right? Then what will be your total complexity? That will be nothing but m into 26, generating one possible answer and then testing it. That is nothing but n into m into t. Now even in my code I try to find this, right? So basically m is 10, right? And it is 26, and n is also 10, right? And this is 10. So basically 1 2 3 about 10 is power 5 into test case, right? So that should not exactly 10 is power 5, this is about 10 is power 4 something, or into 2.6 something, right? Okay, so basically this is, and then you have 10 is power 3 test cases, so I think that should pass, right? And it did pass. Okay, so basically how I did solve this question. So firstly I'm taking the input n and m, I'm taking the input strings, right, si, I'm just maintaining one variable count, right? And then basically what I did, I kept one possible answer, that is t of 10. The maximum length of answer is 10 because it was given that m can be at max 10. So t is nothing but my possible result, right? Possible result. Now what I'm doing is choosing a position from 0 to m where I will be replacing the character. Okay, so and then firstly I'm copying the original string, the zeroth string of the given question, right? So tj equal to s of 0j. So basically if my string was abac, so initially my t will point to abac. Like here if you see, if I want to generate the second possible combination, again I have to have AB. This first position you should not contain any other place, any other character, right? So that's why I am copying the answer again, right? Each time. And then basically I'm just choosing a character from 0 to 26, that is nothing but small a plus j. So that will give me a b c till z. Okay, and then I'm just maintaining the count variable as 0, and then I'm checking like with all the n different string, if the given answer is not much different, then count plus plus, right? What is not much different? So basically I'm just comparing the string s and t, like how many places do they differ. If the number of different places is less than equal to 1, then they are not much different, right? So basically then it is true, right? So basically I'm just incrementing the count. Now if the count is equal to n, so means like all the n strings are not much different from the given you know string, the or the possible string, then what I'm doing is that is my answer. Suppose in this case when I'm replacing the first character with all a to b to z, then I have z b a c, and I had like a b a c, and I think z b a b, I think, yeah, right. So basically what then, if my t is this and then I will compare it to ABAC, then I will get it is only differing at the first position. So I have answer, I will increment my count to 1, and then when I will compare it to second string, I will see like it is only differing at last position, that also only one position. So again I will increment my counter to 2. Now if the counter is equal to 2, so means like this given string differs from does not differ from all of the given strings by at max one position. So that is the answer, right? You got the answer. So basically then k equal to 0 to m, and then just outputting the t result and then slash n and then return. And then if you don't get any such answer, means like you iterated all the possible combinations, means like a b a c you have, then you replaced all this with a to z, this with a to z, this with a to z, and this with a to z, then you didn't find any such string like which is congruent to all the other strings, right? Then basically then the answer will be -1. Then you cannot generate a string, a resultant string which does not differ from the first string by at max one position, right? So that was easy, right? And the total complexity, if you will ask me of this, the total complexity will, let me just call, okay, I have already calculated the total complexity here. So if you see, this function operates in O of m, okay, and I'm calling this function inside this loop, so I have n into m here, right? And then I'm doing it for each of the 26 characters, so I have 26 into n into m, okay, and then I'm doing this much work for each of the m positions, right? So I have total complexity of m into 26 into n into m. So that is nothing but what we calculated it earlier. Now this is for each of the test case, right? So if you see here, I just wrote a function for solve test case, right? It is not the void main function. So in void main you have to just invoke it for all of the test cases, right? So yeah, that was all. Now if you made it to the very end, congratulations, and do subscribe to my channel for more such videos, and do let me know like whether you like this format of videos in which like all of the questions are in one video or separate videos, okay? And do subscribe to my channel, do share this video with your friends, and happy coding. Thank you.